Welcome to Health Education. This is part 2 of 3 parts for health education, which is a continuation of our family health lesson. From our previous lesson, we've talked about crushes, courtship, dating, engagement until marriage. To continue our lesson, today we will have lesson number 2, which is about pregnancy-related concerns and prenatal care. We all came from our mothers being pregnant with us. It is a phase where our mother experiences changes in their bodies and also changes mentally and emotionally. Sexual reproduction happens when the reproductive cells of a man and a woman joins together to make another human cell. This reproductive process is called fertilization, where half the genes of the father and half the genes of the mother combines to form a single cell, and then divides and form more cells with the same genes. After the sperm cell fertilize the egg cell and create a new cell, this cell attach itself on the uterine wall of the mother. The attachment of this cell to the uterus is called implantation. This cell grows and developed in the uterus into a baby. From the time fertilization happens until the 8th week, the developing cell is called embryo. From the 8th week until birth, the developing baby is called a fetus. A normal pregnancy lasts until 9 months or 38 to 40 weeks. But there are times that the pregnancy is unplanned or unwanted, and it causes emotional anxiety and anguish. These pregnancies are also high risk, especially if the mother is still in the puberty stage or is a teenager, for her body is still in the process of maturing, which is not yet ready to have a baby, which makes the pregnancy immature, which is fatal for both the baby and the mother. Teenagers as young as 15 years old has a higher risk of death during pregnancy and childbirth than those who are 20 years old and above. This is so because, again, the body of a teenager or a person in her puberty is still developing at that time. There is also a high chance of death for the child born from young mothers because they do not get enough support and nutrient in the body of the young mother. Young mothers have a higher chance to have baby with low birth weight that may cause physical and mental defects on their child. Young mothers do not get prenatal care for they hide their pregnancy, which they need more because their pregnancy is delicate. But even with good prenatal care, there is still a big chance of premature labor and having babies who have low birth weight. Also, young mothers have a higher percentage of dropping out of school because they have to care for their babies, unlike the fathers who can still continue with their school even if the girl is pregnant. Also, if they are not able to go to school, they will not get good jobs in the future, which will lead to poverty and dependence on parents. If the young couple decided to get married because of the pregnancy, the separation rate is too high because they are still both too young to commit with each other. And the pressure is really on the young mother. They will feel that they are still young and should be cared for, but instead they are caring for their own baby already at a young age. So what happens in the body of the mother during pregnancy? There are hormones that are released by the mother's body during pregnancy, which starts after the fertilization. These hormones causes nausea, which happens in the first 3 months of pregnancy. These hormones also makes the breast of the mother bigger and is prepared to produce milk for the baby. This happens to all mammals. As the baby grows inside the uterus for 9 months, it stretches to make sure that there is enough space for the baby to move, which makes the abdomen of the mother larger. She will also feel heavier and would have difficulty in moving around or even sleeping because of the enlarged abdomen. The baby inside the womb is nourished through the placenta. Everything that the mother eats or drinks enters her bloodstream that goes to the placenta. The placenta is an organ that grows together with the baby during pregnancy. This is where the mother and the baby exchange nutrients and wastes during pregnancy. When a mother is pregnant, she should make sure to eat nutritious food to ensure that the baby gets the same nutrients and be able to grow healthy inside her body. The mother would experience these changes from being mild to severe depending on her health. Fatigue, sleep problems, and the likes are normal, for there is another life inside of the mother, and many enzymes and hormones are released, which is also a factor that affects these changes. Also, because the mother is gaining weight and the abdomen is enlarging, leg cramps, pelvic and pains are inevitable. The mother also experiences stretch marks and itchiness of the skin because the skin is stretched and tight. Also, numbness and weakness is normal because some of the veins are pressured by the growing baby inside the mother. There are also discharges from the vagina, which is part of pregnancy. There are three phases of pregnancy. First trimester happens in the first 3 months or from week 1 to 12 of pregnancy. The first sign of pregnancy is a missed menstrual period. These are the conditions a mother goes through during the first trimester. The second trimester is from the 4th to 6th months or week 13 to 27. This is when the mother starts to look pregnant. By week 16, the fundus or the top part of the uterus is bigger, which now causes the abdomen to be bigger. These are the conditions of a mother during the second trimester. On the third trimester, 7th to 9th month, or the 28th week until birth, discomfort is much felt because of the baby growing bigger inside the abdomen. These are the conditions a mother goes through during the third trimester. There are also complications of pregnancy, such as nausea and improper weight, which can be prevented by small feedings of the mother instead of only having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and by eating soft foods. Toxemia, or the blood poisoning, this happens especially if the mother has pre-existing illnesses such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and the like. But this can be prevented and managed with proper nutrition. Morning sickness, where folic acid helps, anemia or the loss of iron, which can be managed with proper nutrition, diabetes or the increase of blood sugar, which can also be managed with proper nutrition, and constipation. Because the mother is sharing her body with another human being, these conditions may arise during pregnancy. After the 9 months of pregnancy, the baby is now ready to be born. The passage of a baby from the uterus to the outside world is called birth. During this time, the uterus contracts to push the baby through the vagina and outside the mother's body. Labor is a process from when the contraction starts until the child is delivered. It can be of short time for other people or longer for some. When the baby comes out of the mother's vagina, it is called normal delivery. But in some cases, babies are delivered through cesarean section or CS, I think some of you are delivered through this process. This is an emergency process. If the mother cannot release the baby through her vagina, what happens is that the doctors slice the mother's abdomen, take out other organs until they see the womb, and surgically removes the baby and the placenta from the mother's uterus. Then comes the newborn. A new baby is exciting, but is also scary for they require much attention from the parents. They have to be fed frequently, change diapers frequently too, and they have different health issues than adults for they cannot tell you what they want and just cry. In hospitals, there is what we call the essential newborn care, for they know from researches that the baby improve their health more if they are cared for from beginning to end until the postnatal period. This protocol focuses on the first few hours of life of the newborn. Also, newborn babies should undergo a newborn screening which is mandated by law. These tests give the doctors idea if the newborn would need extra care during the critical time, which is as soon as they are exposed to the world. If everything is good, then the parents can bring their baby home. These are the development stages of the first year of the life of a baby. There are times that these babies do this earlier, but there are also times that the babies do this task later on. Immunization is also important to make sure that the baby will not get illnesses from the environment easily. These vaccines helps the baby create a shield of defense with the existing illnesses around, especially that they are still small and is more likely to catch these diseases. It is also suggested that babies get their milks from their mothers, for this is healthier for the baby. It is also mandated by law that healthy babies be brought to the rooms of the mother to receive their milk from their mothers through breastfeeding. A mother naturally lactate right away after giving birth. The first milk the mother produces is the colostrum, which should be consumed by the baby for its high protein content. The mother's milk is healthier than any processed milk for it contains all these vitamins and minerals a baby needs to grow and develop healthier. This ends our lesson in pregnancy-related concerns and prenatal care. For your activity, I will be posting it in our FB group. For assessment, kindly check your FB group for the link. This is part 2 of 3 parts for health education for the second grading. The next links will be given to your FB group for the next lessons. Thank you, and I hope you've learned something from watching this video. Stay safe, everyone.